Yohanse is on set. We welcome Yohanse yet again for our Mental Health Matters, very important program. People look forward to this every single Thursday, and we thank you, Yohanse, for the commitment, whether it's Zoom, whether it's you're parking the car. most times you're here with us live, and we thank you for that, man, and season's greetings to you and your family.
Jason, you're welcome, and season's greetings to you and everyone viewing.
That's right. Today we're talking about life and death. Let's put it up on the screen. This is an interesting one. I'm not too sure where we're going this morning, so I'll let you take it away.
All right, so life and debt. Debt spelled D-E-B-T, right? During this Christmas season, many people often take loans, right? Often take loans, sometimes based on emotions, and end up in debt. And they start the new year in debt. Now, I say the word debt because even though it is spelled differently, many times, and I encounter this with clients and even in my personal life, when you're in debt, for some people, it feels like debt. And starting the new year in debt, especially from an impulsive buy versus, because nothing wrong with taking a loan, but if you do it in a way that it's tangible. So let me give an example. I could give a personal example. There was once I took a loan to redo the bathroom and the toilet and thing. So even though I was in debt, every time I see it, every time I take a bath, I could feel like my investment. Some people take loans, especially on Christmas time, to do things that are not tangible. So it could be for food, it could be for celebrations. And when it ends, you have nothing to show for it, but you're still in debt.
Yeah, important point. I mean, obviously, we get sometimes caught up in the commercial cycle that is the season. All the ads, you go to the malls, you know, there is this sense that of obligation that, you know what, you have to, you know, jump out yourself, spend, keep tradition alive, or create your own tradition if there was none growing up. How do we navigate all these moving parts, Yohanse? Because, I mean, as much as we might have that feeling, the fact is when we go out there, the visual stimulation could really make you want to make that big spend.
It could, and that word you use, the obligation. The meaning of obligation actually means to be bound to or chained to. And none of us want to be bound or chained to anything because that way you're not free. So for this season, to be honest, even though we may feel that way, none of us obligated to anything, you know. There are things, it's okay if you want to do it. I want to spend more time with family. I want to invite my friends over. I want to do certain things. But if you feel like you're obligated, which is now a chain, right, means you're not free, then there's a problem.
Well, I want to challenge that concept, but where is the obligation when it comes to the children, especially those who are parents with children who are looking forward for that Christmas gift? It's almost like part again of the tradition, and some parents especially, really feel broken. They feel sad if they can't give that young one, because people always say, you know, it's all about the children. But if they really can't deliver on Christmas morning, there is a sense of genuine sadness, you know.
Yes, that is true, and I've had this discussion with some parents already, and I'll go with consensus. What they said is sometimes when they overspend to give the obligation to the child, sometimes it puts them in deficit for the next year. And the sadness they see or the stress they be under for the next year, or at least the early part of the next year, is worse than seeing the joy of the child, because the child might enjoy the toy or the gift for a certain period of time. But when school starts, when life starts back, and they don't have the things, some of the basic things to give them, or they have to live in a period of scarcity, it is worse. And what I would say to that is, parents, be honest with your children. So let's just say a child wants 10 gifts. I just being extravagant, right? If you could only deliver one, tell them that beforehand, so that they have no expectation before, because that is worse. Because if I have seen most times when you tell a child, hey, I know you wanted the PS5, but I can't afford the PS5, I could maybe do something less. You don't have to tell them. It could still be a surprise, but you let them know, and you're not getting this, right? Even though they may be disappointed, but when Christmas Day come, you already prepare them, and then it's not a shock that they didn't get what they want.
You know, why you think, again, I said it up to this morning, it's a time of extreme joy, and there's this sense of optimism and love in the air, but the flip side of that is sadness, despair. There are many people who around this time feel lost, they do not partake, sometimes because of financial means, not being able to, step up to the plate or fulfill, again, as you said, that we put this word and this pressure on ourselves, this obligation, as it were. What do you say to that person this morning who might be going through a little tailspin around this time, especially if, financially they're not there, or they're contemplating to go take that loan to just to meet the obligation or to meet the expectation, you want to say?
Look at your bank account, right? You laugh at that.
Look at it, right?
Look at your bank account, because reality is reality. If you don't have the money, sometimes when you see you don't have it, then you think, okay, I want to get this loan. But when you see the reality of what you have versus what you don't have, it could deter you. Because when you feel the emotion, sometimes it could be in fantasy, I want to do X, Y, Z. But the truth is the truth. And facing the truth, especially for the season, could be difficult for some people, because even we're talking about debt and obligation, but sometimes at the end of the year, we feel like we have to do certain things. But just look at the truth. Remember how you feel last year, January, when you took the loan, or you spend more than you have. Remember how you felt sometimes even up to March. Right? Don't do the same thing again, because Christmas comes once a year. You know it coming once God spare life. So why do the same thing repeatedly? And every year it gets worse for some people,
Because, sometimes you get paid earlier. Some people actually get a bonus. So we're talking not even those who will go take the loan. We're just talking about you get some extra funds. But as fast as it might come, it might go in the same speed, if there's no game plan.
Here was a good game plan. As you get the money early, pay bills for January one time, right? Pay everything you had to pay, right? And then whatever you have left, make it work. So that way, when 2025 come around, you're not in debt.
What about those who looking to impress friends? You don't want people come across, no pastel, no black cake, your alcohol must be top up, you're looking at, you must be able to wet people beak with something premium, and if you can't step up to that plate, what do you say to that person this morning?
Don't put yourself in debt, right? The same people you're impressing, they're going and do everything you eat and drink, it going out in the toilet after, right? Then it don't even make sense. It's not even tangible. I understand wanting to impress, but even if it's your friends, we use that word. If it's your friend, you don't really have to impress your friend. You could tell your friend, if it's really your friend, all I have is 2 pastels, we go share it half, if you understand what I'm saying. I don't have no soil this year, we eating cricks and ham, right? If that's really your friend will understand and wouldn't want you to be in any financial debt.
Yeah, really important conversation at an important time. And you want to say, I'll give you, as always, the final say.
Nation, don't put yourself in debt to impress others or chain yourself to an obligation for the new year. Don't make life complicated, because even though life is not easy, it's really not that hard. Thank you for listening. Real
advice in real time from Johansi, always touching base with us every single Thursday. Really committed to the cause, and we thank him for that. I'm going to make my exit, but of course the show must go on, and Ian Wason steps in for that in-depth look at sport. Yes, Ian up next as we continue right here with the Morning Brew. Have a great one, TNT.